I will be the first to admit that my video quality isn't always the best. Part of it's due to laziness, part of it is due to my technological ineptitude. I actually am going. This is the second upload of the video because I was unsatisfied with the first upload of the video. Um, so going across, I decided to put back up the second part of the top 64, and I will show it to you right now. Um, Started off with 75 band cards, and a few of them were eliminated in like a preliminary round. And then I did the first half of the 64 with Shockmaster Yatagarasu, Change of Heart, Cyberjar, blah, 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 and that's in the first video, rather the second video. In this video, I'll be doing the second half of the top 64 with matchups of Cold Wave versus Diffusion, Heavy Storm versus Magical Scientist, Global versus Mass Driver, Card Safe Return versus Sangan, Future Fusion versus Painful Choice, Ring of Destruction versus Trishula, Brain Control versus Forceful Century, and I hope you can read because I'm not going to read the rest of you. So I just wanted to make a little bit better quality because I was notified pretty quickly that it was very confusing what I was doing. But we have Temple of the Kings versus Last Turn. I don't think Last Turn is used for one OTK with Jowgen. Aside from that, it's kind of hard to get off. I can't think of any other ways off the top of my head you can abuse it. And Temple of the Kings is a broken game mechanic, so that's going to win. Next we have Wind Up Carrier Zen Mighty versus Rescue Rabbit. It's funny how some of these pairings worked out. I promise these are randomized except for the baby dragons. And well, I mean, Rescue Cat's just a better Zen Mighty. So there. Next we have Mass Driver versus Harpy's Feather Duster. In general, Mass Destruction is going to lose 2 cards that can summon everything from your deck. There's a couple combos. I mean, there's the huge one where it takes 2 cards from your hand, 2 or 3 cards from your hand, Mind Master, and like 4,000 life points, and you finish with a Landoise, Beast, and Barkion. I mean, that's pretty good. Or you could just summon 1,000. I don't know. That's such a stupid card. Ugh. So I mean, Mind Master is just the clear victor over here. Mind Master is one of the best cards ever. Cards like that are some of the best cards ever created. Next, you got some fancy schmancy Elemental Hero Stratos versus Goyo Guardian. Goyo Guardian is a level 6 synchro that is a harder to get off version of Big Eye, and Big Eye's at 3 and Goyo's at 1. I suppose Goyo's more generic, but I don't know. I guess Stratos is so abusable. Stratos being banned means that D-Draw, Malicious, Hero Lives, Emergency E-Call, Bubble Man, all those can be at 3 with Stratos gone, so that kind of tells you something about Stratos. Confiscation versus Demok, Dark Magician of Chaos. I wasn't really sold on this myself when I convinced myself that one was better, but I kind of went with Demok being a better because there are loops that you could do with it. There's that OTK that was so freaking consistent. You could actually call, you could use DD Designator to call DD Crow to make sure that your loop went off. It involved Demok and Diffusion and all this stuff. Confiscation is a phenomenal card, but I just thought Demok was a little better in terms of their loops with it. Typically cards like Confiscation, Forceful Censure, those are going to fall out once you go further in a bracket versus broken game mechanics. I'm not saying that those cards aren't bad, but Confiscation will just naturally lose to. Well, I mean, Confiscation is probably. I don't know. Confiscation is really good, but yeah. If you've ever talked to me about any of the equip spells, I will say that they're all broken, thanks to Hidden Armory. But Sixth Sense versus Premature Burial, I end up going with Sixth Sense over Premature Burial because Sixth Sense milling has become a very good game mechanic, especially seen with E-Dragons and lesser to an extent Light Sworns or Zombies. But I mean, when the worst case scenario is you draw 5 cards, I'm not complaining. So Sixth Sense wins out Premature, even with Hidden Armory out on the market. Thousand Eyes Restrict versus Card Destruction. Thousand Eyes Restrict automatically loses because the best way to get it out is Metamorphosis, right? Unless there's some other way I can't think of. Besides Magical Scientist. But Card Destruction is just so good that things like it's wonderful in E-Dragons. It's wonderful in Dark Roads, I thought Card Destruction is a little more broken than just I mean, Thousand Eyes Restrict can be dealt with pretty easily. If I had a if I had a TV show card called "Why Is This Card Still Banned?", Dragon Ravine would be on there. I don't. I. It seems really harsh for it to be at 0. I understand it's a phenomenal card that allows you to, Foolish Barrow once per turn, but I don't know. Ugh. I just think Substitute will win out over Dragon Ravine because you can summon your entire deck. Well, if you're playing frogs. Mass summoning is very good, and so Dimensional Fusion, the cost of 2,000 life points, can bring back a ton of monsters, which is just, Monster Reborn is banned for a reason, so is Dimensional Fusion, especially with that stupid Democ loop. But Cold Wave shuts off your opponent for an entire turn, and especially in a backer-heavy format, you could, do you really want to play against something like Heretics when they play Cold Wave on you? I didn't think so. So Cold Wave, I think, is going to win out over Diffusion. Heavy Storm versus some Magical Scientist. Magical Scientist is going to win out over Heavy Storm. I think that's more of a general rule that Mass Destruction is just going to lose. But Magical Scientist, unless they errata it, which I think I heard in Japan, they were thinking of errating that and Catapult Turtle and, I don't know, Dark Strike Fighter, but something Magical Scientist, being able to just summon everyone from your Fusion deck and do crazy things with them. Sure, it takes all the life points, but I don't know. You could make a lot of ranks. You could make a lot of Xyz pretty easily with that. Some Glow Bulb versus Mass Driver, and would you rather have really good card or a OTK enabler? So it's like Mass Driver is going to win out. You could say, oh, Cannon Soldier is an OTK enabler, and not searchable. Well, Toon Cannon say Cannon Soldier is, but Mass Driver is a spell, so you can play it any time where you could have an infinite amount of monsters. Hell, you could even play, even without a Substitute, you could probably burn your opponent to death and freaking like Lancer Frogs or something. I don't know. You just all these Ronin Totems. If Mass Driver was still around, I would play Frog OTK without a Substitute. It wouldn't be Frog FTK, but it'd be Frog Sea Lancer. It would beat people, and they'd be sad. I'd be sad. Card of Safe Return versus Sangan. A monster that has to go to the graveyard to get a really good search effect off, or like, blah. I think the choice is obvious. So we got Painful Choice versus like Target brand Painful Choice. So we have Ring of Destruction versus That's a theme song that plays in my head every time someone wants to summon Trishula. But Trishula loses to Ring of Destruction. This fancy schmancy Brain Control versus some Forceful Century. Brain Control is... I remember when Brain Control was... Okay, first Brain Control was not considered that great. Back when the Lost Millennium was first printed. I'm not saying it was terrible, but it just wasn't what it became. Then it became where you could top deck Brain Control, and then just... If you had 801 life points left, you would win. That's not really the case anymore, so I don't think that it's nearly as... I think the game mechanic... Sure, Stealing a Monster is great, but we have two almost like better versions of Stealing a Monster now that are legal. Big eye. So I think Forceful Century, the fact that you get to look at your opponent's hand, don't have to pay any life points, and get to put a card back from your deck, I think that is arguably the best... Don't shoot me, Delinquent Duo, but that is arguably the best snatch a card out of your hand in comparison. There's Drop Off, Time Seal, Confiscation, Delinquent Duo, and Forceful Century, and I would almost be a proponent that Forceful Century is the best. So last we have Chaos Emperor Dragon, one of the best cards ever printed, versus Tribe Infecting Virus. I think Tribe Infecting Virus is only not back to 1 because I don't know. It kills themes if that's a problem, but Chaos Emperor Dragon is leaps and bounds better than Trib Infecting Virus. So, well, there you have it. Here are your top your 2 pairings. Ooh, we get some interesting matchups here. So I'll try to make a video sooner than how long this took me. I'm in Florida right now with the tennis team, so maybe I'll even make a video tomorrow because we have tomorrow's a day off and everyone's going to go to the Tigers game, and I'm just exhausted. I just want to sleep all day, so I probably won't. But maybe expect a video tomorrow. Peace.